welcome back to my channel. So I asked you guys on Instagram a couple weeks ago what videos you want to see on my channel during this pregnancy. A lot of you suggested that I compare my pregnancies. So I'm going to be comparing my 2 pregnancies that I've had. I have been pregnant 4 times total, but this is the 2nd time that I've carried this far along. So I'm going to be comparing my daughter that I have now, who is almost 5 years old, her pregnancy to this pregnancy, which I am 22 weeks with a little girl. Again, I've had 4 girls. They've all been little different, but I didn't carry my other girls long enough to notice too much difference. But now that I am in my 2nd trimester and getting to my 3rd trimester, I figured I would compare the pregnancies where I've been through a lot with this pregnancy already, and some things are so different and some things are so the same. Even though they're both girls, it's still like so different. I know that they say that different genders are like different symptoms, and like if I'm carrying a boy or if I'm carrying a girl, like they're both different, but it really doesn't matter on the gender because I have carried 4 girls and they've all been really different. So without further ado, let's get into this video. So I think I'm gonna just start off with things that were different in each pregnancy, and then at the end I will tell you guys some of the same things that I'm going through for a 2nd time in this pregnancy. So I'm gonna start with Brielle's pregnancy first because she was my first baby, and that's the first time I experienced being pregnant ever. The first thing I noticed really early on in my pregnancy with Brielle is that I got bloody noses, and they would come, I think, when the like there was a lot of moisture in the air. So like when I was in the shower, I would have bloody noses and they were like gushing out. I bled, I think, like 3 times that whole pregnancy with Brielle. So that is something that I'm not experiencing this time. I haven't had 1 bloody nose. I will say that I did have a bloody nose in my 2nd pregnancy, but I haven't had any bloody noses with Brixlee yet. The second thing that I noticed with Brielle's pregnancy is that I broke out a lot. I don't know if it was just because I was young. I mean, I was, how old was I? I was like 17 when I was pregnant with Brielle. So my skin was still like that teenage skin. So I don't know if it's just because I'm older now and I don't have as much, you know, hormones, and I don't know really how that works, but I don't know if it was just because I was younger. But I did have a lot of breakouts with Brielle. A craving that I had with Brielle was ham Italians from Sam's. Sam's ham Italians are where it is at. I still love them to this day, but I think when I was pregnant with Brielle, it was like I need it. It wasn't a want, it was a need. Like I physically need that ham Italian to feel better. So that's something that I craved, and I don't really crave it this time, or this pregnancy. And I know that they tell you not to eat like deli meat and stuff, but my doctor also said you have more risk of hurting the baby driving in a car. So you kind of have to pick your, you know, your chances. So those ham Italians were very important to me. The last thing that was really different in Brielle's pregnancy is that I felt like I was at the OBGYN a lot more with her because I had a lot more bleeding scares. Definitely more than Brixlee's. I've only had 1 bleeding scare so far in this pregnancy with Brixlee, but with Brielle, I had like 3 or 4 times where I was like faintly bleeding, and I'm very thankful that I'm not dealing with that this pregnancy, because it would seriously just, I mean, like everything that I've been through to get here, bleeding just would freak me out, and I don't need any more stress. So that's just one thing I noticed with Brielle. I don't know like why I bled more or I had more bleeding scares. I don't know. I'm still doing the same thing. I mean, I'm not doing anything different in this pregnancy. So I don't know, but I just noticed that I am not at the OBGYN because I'm having spotting. So that's a good thing. All right, so moving on to Brixlee. This pregnancy right now, I noticed that in the 1st trimester, right off the bat, at 5 weeks pregnant, I was sicker than shit. Literally. My whole 1st trimester wasn't terrible, but I did not feel good at all. I spent most of my 1st trimester on the couch, sick, puking. It wasn't fun. I mean, I definitely didn't feel very good with Brielle in the first trimester, but I never threw up. With Brixlee, you could count on me throwing up at least once or twice every day in the first trimester. So definitely in the beginning of the pregnancy, I was like, oh my God, I'm having a boy. I've never been this sick ever. So it was definitely different. This being my 4th pregnancy, I feel like I am the heaviest in this pregnancy. I think I started out like at 118 before I had Brielle, and I gave birth to Brielle only gaining 20 pounds. So definitely a lot smaller with Brielle. I don't know, like, obviously I'm not gonna know yet how much I'm gonna weigh when I give birth to Brixlee, but I am starting out at a heavier weight than I did 5 years ago. Obviously, I'm older now and I'm not, my metabolism isn't as good as it used to be, but I am definitely feeling a lot bigger this time around. And I'm not saying like bigger arms, bigger face, like bigger legs. I'm saying like I popped earlier with Brixlee. I mean, I had a belly at like 9 weeks pregnant. I am as big as I am now that I was when I gave birth to Brielle. So I'm a lot bigger this time. And I think, you know, and I also, like I said, I'm starting out at a heavier weight than I did with Brielle. So I'm sure that has something to do with it, but we'll see how much I really gain at the end of this pregnancy. This brings me right back to the cravings. So in this pregnancy, I wouldn't say I'm craving food like I did with Brielle. I am craving alcohol. Not just like any alcohol, I'm craving beer. I just want a beer so bad. And I know that I can't. Obviously, I'm not gonna be like that mom or whoever. I'm not gonna be that person that has a drink. But you know how hard it is when you're laying in bed next to your husband and he cracks open a ice cold beer and you just can smell it. Like sometimes I just ask him, can I just smell it? Like I am so excited. If that's the one thing I'm excited for, to give birth, and then after come home, I'm excited to come home and have a Corona. So I don't know if you guys have been watching me for a while, but if you have, you guys know that me and Corona, we go back and we have a very tight relationship. So definitely missing my beer this pregnancy. I don't know if it's because like this pregnancy, I'm older and I'm obviously of age now. Before with Brielle, I wasn't of age and I didn't really drink, like I didn't. And I'm not saying I drank heavily before, but you know, when you have 2 kids and a daycare and all of that, and just I'm more grown up now, more stress, and it's nice to just have a beer at the end of the day. So it's definitely something I'm missing for sure. So that basically sums up all the differences in my pregnancies. And now I'm just going to explain some of the similarities that I experienced with Brielle and with Brixlee. One really big thing that I experienced with Brielle and with Brixlee is that my back is killing me. If I lay down and I try to get up, I have to like walk like a little old lady wherever I'm going just for like a few steps and then I'm okay. But my back really is killing me in pregnancy. That's just one thing that I noticed right off the bat. Like I'm like, oh, here goes my back again. So it's very hard for me to get up and down from like the bed or the couch or just even putting on my shoes, leaning over. Like it's just so hard and my back just kills me. I don't have a very good back to begin with. I have scoliosis and my spine is like tilted. I knew that when I was younger, if I decided to have kids, which I am, I knew that pregnancy would definitely bother my back. This is also a little bloody fact, but with both of my pregnancies, I would brush my teeth, or I can still brush my teeth, and my gums will bleed. My gums are super sensitive when I am pregnant. That's clearly something that happens when I am pregnant because I bled every time I brushed my teeth and I bleed every time I brush my teeth now. I do use like a sensitive toothpaste, but it's still like inevitable. It just happens. Something that I just actually started noticing in this pregnancy and with Brielle, now that baby girl is bigger, she's pushing everything up, she's pushing my stomach up, and everything's kind of just not in its spot because she is getting bigger. But I notice at night now when I'm laying down, I get acid reflux, and I had that with Brielle. I remember just feeling like that hotness in my throat, like something was coming up, and I am now experiencing it again with Brixlee. The last thing that is the same with both pregnancies is I always crave water. Something about pregnancies, I don't know. I mean, I love water to begin with, but it's like on a whole other level. I wish I could be like hooked up to an IV of ice cold water all day. I just love water. And like I said, I love water to begin with. But when I'm pregnant, it's like I crave it, like I just can't wait to get some ice cold water. And yes, ice cold. Like I can't just drink lukewarm water. I mean, I guess I could, but who wants to do that when there's a freezer full of ice? So that's definitely one thing that I noticed that I crave during pregnancies is water. And I am loving this cup. My mother-in-law got me this for Christmas. It's the Hydro Flask. And I've been using like those, cheap like Walmart tumblers, and they work really good. They hold my ice all night, but I really like this because it does hold my ice all night, and it has a straw. You see that? A straw. I don't have that with my cheap Walmart ones, so I feel spoiled. Alright guys, that concludes this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you are pregnant and you don't know the gender, and you've been pregnant before, and you're noticing things are different than the last pregnancy, so maybe it's a different gender, don't let anybody fool you, because you can have all the same symptoms with different genders, or you can have super different symptoms and still have the same gender. So just because you're throwing up and you didn't last time means that you're gonna have a girl this time, because that's what I thought. I thought that, I'm super sick this time and I wasn't with my daughter, it must be a boy. Well, come to find out, I'm just made to have girls or carry girls. So don't let anybody fool you, because pregnancy is so different every single time you're pregnant, and it doesn't matter if it's a girl or if it's a boy, it's just different. Every single pregnancy is different. All right, guys, thanks for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.